Yo, this is RedIn30 where we make you red in 30. Literally, we got 30 minutes to do this thing. I am DM, and I'm here with the homie, EJ. EJ, you here? We in this thing. RedIn30 is a 30-day reading of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, a.k.a. the red words, trying to get you in the red rhythm. We believe in the entire Bible. We believe the Bible is a story about who you and I are, but we believe the red words tell us who we are in the story. All we talking about is Jesus, truth, and us all using
the red words.
The red words, red rhythm. And so we're here. You were saying something, but Apostle was saying, teach a lesson. You know what I'm saying? Apostle, shout out to Apostle Thomas. Go ahead.
Shout out.
Pops, you heard me? But go ahead. Nah, it's more than Pops, man. I see it more than Pops. Go ahead.
It was, I don't know. It was like, I don't know. It was like way back. I must have been like 12, 13.
Yeah, see, people don't catch it, but go ahead. People don't catch it, man. We did, though.
Right.
Go ahead.
But he said, he was talking about this, the spirit inside or whatever like that. But, well, last pod was talking about the source.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, resource, right? And Apostle said, he said, the spirit on the inside of you was neutral. It's neutral.
Okay.
But if you don't connect to the right, if you don't connect right, you're gonna use it for something else.
Yeah, the spirit of God is the spirit of God inside of you. Let me tell you. Can I? Well, you about to get us into the story. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Jesus, and I think it's in Matthew 17. But it's the parable about the talents. Mm-hmm. What people don't understand is the parable about the talents. One he gave one he gave two, one he gave five, according to their several ability.
Yeah.
Watch.
Yeah.
This is life. This is what life is. People don't understand that is talking about what God did with us, what he's doing with us when we were born. God, in the beginning, they said God made man from dust, and then he said he breathed in the man, and man became a living soul. Mm-hmm. He breathed himself inside of man. This is the beginning of stewardship. God trusted us enough to put himself in us.
Yeah.
Watch this. And the reason that the whole story, you got the tree of knowledge, the Takoge, right? And you got tree of life, and he gives you choices, is because he's entrusting you with him in you. The creative nature of God is still on the inside of us, but he's trusting you to make the choice to do what he would do. You get it? So now when you're deceived, I always say this, we're talking about Jesus being a king. When you're deceived or you're distracted, you begin to use the sourcefulness of God in the wrong direction. Right. This is the only thing that the serpent, the system, Satan, this is the only thing that they want to do. All the demonic part, they want to do that because they don't have the sourcefulness.
Yep.
Right? If we get the angels and demons and talking about all that, angels, they don't even have that power. They don't have the sourcefulness. So because they don't have the sourcefulness, e.g., if I've got something, if people do this with people with money, like when we was in school, somebody have a car and you don't have a car, so you gotta act like you're making friends with them,
right?
And you might be talking buku junk about them to somebody else,
right?
I never did that, but I had it done to me before, right? But you don't really like the person, but they got a car, they're resourceful, so you gotta act and you gotta distract them from the fact that you don't like them.
Yep.
To get them to believe that you like them, just so they'll let you ride with them, and you can get from A to B. And now you're getting them drop you off at girls' house and take you to the movies. Yeah, users, right. Users. Gold diggers are users. Like it's like that, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody has a resource, then if I don't have it, and not me personally, but I'm saying usually a person, if they don't have it, they'll try to use somebody else who does have it to get accomplish the goal that they want.
Yep.
That's what the enemy's doing. And a lot of times people don't even know they're getting holed out.
Come on.
I proved that you're getting hold out. You're getting hold out for some money.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're doing whatever the system wants. Your gifting is so great, but you're doing it for payday. You a hoe. You are a high level, legal, legitimized, don't nobody know but us, prostitute. You a hoe. Because you're doing it for the paper.
Yep.
And your gift could be used for so many other things. And if the seek ye first the kingdom of God and all these things that you're being holed out for would be added to you. But God has trusted us with his sourcefulness. You get it? So now with that being said, when we see things going on, that presence and that power is still enacted and available and working. but it's the direction that we send it in. Now, God has that's what people always talk about, but grace and mercy kicks in this place because God can only allow his nature or what he's given you to go only so far against his will, and then he got to cut it off.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's what grace and mercy comes in. And the grace and mercy is really for people that are walking around thinking they're so sure about themselves and they don't know their identity. And they're being used for the paper or used for the whatever. And because they're getting clapped for, Jesus, all right, so you remember, all right, so a couple podcasts ago, we said, take it personal.
Mm-hmm.
If we make it personal, then we understand that Jesus solves this ailment in us.
Yep.
In the wilderness.
Yep.
He gets led in the wilderness to be tempted. The word tempted also means tested, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be tested of the devil, right? After he done fasted all these days, he getting tested. And it deals with some of the major elements of the ailments of man.
Yep.
One was hunger and food. Now, people don't understand a lot of the ailments and sickness and disease that we have that come up is because we can't control our hunger.
Yep.
We can't control what we eat. There's a fast food joint on every corner. They're producing fake food all over the place. We love to eat. We indulge. We have access and excess, and we indulge in so much, and then we wonder why cancer is like it is, or we wonder why high blood pressure is like it is, or diabetes, or obesity, all these different things. These are things that you can eat. Like you eat yourself upon this circumstance.
Yep.
All right, so he deals with that with turn this into bread. Second one, he says, if you be, so great or whatever, cast yourself off of that, you know what I'm saying, and your angel's gonna catch. So now you tempting God. Now you trying to act like you're trying to prove something to somebody. I gotta prove it. All of them trying to prove it.
Right.
I'm trying to prove something to God, prove that I'm great. I can jump over here and do acrobats or whatever because you want to look great and trying to prove to somebody that you're great. That's another one. And then the last one, he deals with the riches and fame.
Yep.
He said, I give you all these things, all these kingdoms. Now you don't know the earth is the Lord and the fullness of the world and they that dwell in it. So you don't really own nothing. Right? Like the enemy don't really, right? But if the system can tempt you, then what they're going to get you to do is to sell your gift to them and then make you famous and make people clap and give you millions of followers. And I don't have no problem with anybody with millions of followers. I have no problem. That's not the point. That's not the point, right? The point is you don't even know you're being holed out.
Yep.
Because you can't say what you want to say.
Right.
The moment that you say what the truth or what you want to say or something contrary to what they want to say, they're going to do what? Cancel you.
Yep.
And you don't even know it. So you're not a resource. You're being holed out. And so you're being holed out and you don't even know that it's happening to you. It's almost like, get your hands out my pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you're getting, I'm very cautious about the example I'm about to use because I don't want to be insensitive. And it's so very wrong how somebody can get molested or abused when they're younger. Because as a child, you don't know how things are supposed to be.
Yeah.
And you can have some feelings, that it wasn't supposed to be that way. But you're getting misused and abused because you don't even know it. And a lot of times in life, people are being molested.
Yeah.
For there are companies that are molesting people. There are businesses. There are government, there are institutions, there are religious institutions that are molesting people because they don't know the source that they are.
Yep.
Now, I'm not talking about the source that you are from a high-minded, I'm this, I'm that type of, and that bothers me when people say, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a that. Like, you exactly the one that's not going to get used at all. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about knowing that you are humbly like Jesus is, knowing that my whole ability and who I am comes from the source of God. Mm-hmm. And God is not going to hold me out.
Yep.
That's a word. I mean, I could, that's a word that probably need to be a message for somebody. That God is not going to hold you out.
Never.
God not going to hold you out. He's not going to prostitute you out. Everything that God will, they be talking about use me, Lord, right? Everything that God is going to use you for is really going to be him doing it through you. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be for the benefit of not only, it's going to be the benefit for his overall will, and you will be benefited in the process. That's what seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added. It'll be added to you, and nothing will be taken away from you. A lot of times, Jesus said he didn't trust himself to people because he knew who they were, right? He didn't allow himself to be prostituted or used for whatever people wanted to do. And I'm sure he had some offers and approaches. You know, somebody see you talented or somebody see you gifted, see you doing something. Next thing they want to do is sign you.
Yep.
Sign you to something. But he wasn't going to allow it to happen because he knew that they were it was gonna take something away from who God made him to be, not to be added. And a lot of times, people's integrity, you know what I'm saying, their values, their beliefs, their ability to stand on anything is taken away from them because they decided to use their source to make themselves famous.
Yep.
To use their source to make themselves rich. To use their source to make themselves popular. Now, there's nothing wrong with fame, popularity, or riches. Jesus had all of them. So there's nothing wrong with them. But he had them, they didn't have him. They were added to him. And you can't tell me, well, Jesus ain't no rich. Look, once again, I said on the last one, anybody that's going to say, go get water and then pour and serve it, that's beyond rich. Like, you beyond riches, bro. Like, you just bypass the need for money. You realize this man got dinner all the time if he breaking bread and breaking fish.
Right.
Like, you know how many families, how many black mamas they be trying to stretch that food when we were younger.
Right.
They try to make a big pot of red beans. You eating red beans for the next week and a half. You know what I'm saying? Or they making big pots of whatever it is.
Y'all gonna eat this for a week.
You know how much they used to try to stretch that,
Yep.
just try to save money. You know how much they would have appreciated something like that. You in the house talking about, give it here, mama. They start breaking the bread. They'd appreciate it so much, bro. Like, you realize that this goes beyond money. His riches go beyond money. That's crazy, bro. Like, he don't even have to go buy food. He don't have to go buy wine. They said a woman that got healed from the issue of blood touched his garment. The way they described this, she went to many physicians, and it said this, and it spent all she had. And I'm glad it said that in there. They said it spent all the money she had for the best doctors and didn't get no better. Come touch the hem of his garment, she made whole. Pull virtue out of Jesus. Jesus turned around and said, who touched me? Do you get what I'm saying? It goes beyond whatever you think the standard is.
Yeah.
And there's a possibility of things that we can be and create and commune together as community and bring together that we don't get to because we've taken on the systems mentality of community.
Yep.
The systems mentality of, there's another word that starts with the same word that community starts with, is commerce.
Right.
Commerce kind of sounds like coerce too. Like, I'm convincing you or something. I'm making you. Yeah. It's commerce, and I've got you to buy into the commerce so much. I was walking today, EJ, and I said, and I was walking outside, and walking with the dogs. I was walking this grass, and this feeling, nothing extraordinary happened, but this feeling of calm and serenity, and even like, yo, I wasn't doing nothing. I'm gonna tell you, I'm trying to give you the vision. I'm just looking at the grass. I'm walking. Nothing happened, bro. I didn't feel no presence. There wasn't none of that. I guess that may have been what the presence of God was, right? But it's like, and I said, God, dog. I said, every sense of anxiety or lack of value that we have about ourselves, our feelings or whatever, that comes from something else in the system making us think that we don't have enough. I'll prove it to you. It's crazy. Jesus tells us how the kingdom works. He said the kingdom of God is if a man should cast seed in the ground. Now, we're not talking figurative. It's figurative, too. But we're talking literal.
Real.
Like, you got these backyards, and you got this grass all around you, but ain't nobody planting no crops. We at the store, though.
That's crazy, though. That's crazy,
wild.
though.
What's even crazy is that we go to the store and buy vegetables and fruits that got seeds in them.
And nobody was like, oh, let me go play my own. Nah, they gonna throw them away.
And then now, EJ, with the age of YouTube or whatever we got, boy, we got so many ways to learn how to do this stuff. But we just won't do it because we've been duped. We've been duped by the system, and the system has been using our source on their behalf. Whatever you want to call the system, I'm not even pointing at any particular systems right now. I don't even talk about they want us to. You know that the whole. It's not even that. It's just the fact that if we could realize that we are the resource, if we can realize that that's what's really going on, then we'll stop getting prostituted out or getting holed out for whatever other reasons people are trying to do things. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
But once again, we started off a few podcasts ago. This doesn't happen unless you take it personal.
Right.
If you're trying to, what we do is we try to be into Jesus and be into God to get the principles of how life works. And you can't get the principles are only going to take you so far. The personality will take you eternal. Did you hear that statement? The principle only takes you so far. The principles are limited, but the personality is eternal. I'll say it one more time. The principles only go so far. The principles are limited, but the personality is eternal. We don't understand that the principles are catch me, EJ. The principles are defined by the personality. Can I prove it? Like the person of God came before the direction of God. Like who gave the direction? The personality. But we bypass the personality. We've been duped. Takoge got us like that, right? And you got to find how Takoge is in a few episodes ago. Got us like that, and so now we thinking, yeah, no, smart, not smart, and we're so busy caught up in that whole mix of thought that we don't realize the person. So Jesus says, search the scriptures, search the script, right? To try to find out what lines you need to say and what you searching the script to find out what position you playing and what's your part and cue you and what cue action. You know what part you supposed to play, right? You search the script.
Yeah.
Because you just want to be a part of it, right? And then he says, for them, but they testify of me, but you won't come to me. And when you get to him, what he tells you is the story is about you. You know, I heard somebody say, that we just a part to play. We got a little part to play in the story. No, the story is about us. That's what Jesus. The works that I do, you do also. He said, "Listen, no, it ain't about me no more. You here. It ain't about what I'm gonna do on earth no more. It's about what you the one here. Like this time that you're living, this for you. This is the time for you. To function as the source of God. In this, what you about to say?
Autobiography.
This is autobiography, right. Yeah, it's your turn. This is no longer. Oh, look at Jesus, look at Jesus, and this is what we do. So even in this conversation with RedIn30, they think they don't catch it sometimes. We don't catch it sometimes because we think Jesus. Yes, but it's only that because Jesus is telling us who we are. When you see Jesus, you see the Father. When you see Jesus, you see yourself. When you see yourself, you see the Father. When somebody sees you, they see the Father. Then they see themselves. Then they become one with the Father. Do you get it? It's the oneness. It's the oneness. It's the one that I may know him, that I may come one with him, like that Philippians 3:10 in the Passion. That I may become one with him in his death and one with him in his resurrection. Because when I become one with him, then I realize that we've all been one in the first place. We're all the source. We're all resources from the source. It's one. You get it? So the principles are limited, but the personality is eternal. You get it? Like he's trying to tell us, he's trying to show us that it goes beyond just the doing, but it's the whoing.
Yeah.
It's who you are.
Yeah.
Who you are goes beyond what you can do. If you know who you are, you'll do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You get it?
Right.
But we've been tricked. Takoge and all that stuff has tripped us, and now we've been living off of that. We've been living off of that mentality for so long that the person searched the script. For in them you think you're gonna know how to play your part. He said, in them you think you have life. Right? And there's a shadow of life in there. And they was testify me, but you won't come to me. Because when you come to Jesus, you start seeing who you really are.
Yep.
And the part that you really play and how to play it. You get it? You realize it's not a play at all. It's actually life. You get
in real time.
But how many times? This is why we do this. This is why we do RedIn30. Listen, this is literally why we do RedIn30, because people searching all over the scriptures and coming up with all kind of principles and principalities. Right. They're coming up with all kind of doctrines and all these different things, and they're leaving out. You come up with a doctrine and leave out the doctor. You get what I'm saying? Like you're leaving out the personality of God. And so this becomes a conversation. So when we get, EJ, in the red rhythm, we get in the rhythm of the red, right? When we continue to get in the rhythm of the red starts to bring out the personality, starts saying, oh, hold on. Now, and I'm gonna tell people now, we need to put a warning label on the beginning of these podcasts.
No, for real, no.
Like,
For
you know,
real,
if you don't want to, if you don't want to be looking at the people in the church sideways, you know what I'm saying, and if you don't want to be looking at, you know, your reverend or your favorite preacher on TV or whatever sideways, because if you don't want to do that, don't listen to this. And I'm not talking about what other people are doing. We're not putting nobody down, but I'm just saying when the realities of Jesus kick in, then you start realizing the power of God is in you, and it's not in you and nobody else. It's not in you, so you ain't got to listen to nobody. A lot of times, God has sent people there to teach us what the power of God is, but you got to know who your teacher is. You got to be mindful who you connect to.
Yep.
But Jesus is trying to show us who we are in the Father and who the Father is in us. Once we see that, there's an ultimate humility that comes over us. And when that humility comes over us, we begin to, I started talking about this in the other one, I'm going to talk about it a little bit now. We begin to relate to God.
Yeah.
Not just have a relationship with God, but we begin to relate with God. When you can relate, a lot of times when you can relate, when you truly relate to somebody, it becomes the source of your relationship. You know, I mean, you know, and I ain't got to go over it. I've been married for about 3 months now, maybe about almost 4, right? I've been married. I've been what? What? I got a what? Never would have made it. Never would have thought. Okay, but me and Nakia, me and my wife, we relate on a different level. Our relationship, we watched this thing. She sent me this thing today and bust out laughing because people say some of the craziest stuff on Instagram. People think they're relationship gurus and marriage gurus and all this different stuff, and they say some things sometimes, and somebody put this thing 222. Every 2 weeks you need to go on a date, and every two months, you got to go on 2 trips a year, and it'll keep your relationship happy. And she sent it to me and bust out laughing. And I love her sense of humor because we really be looking at all these people with this stuff, with this marriage stuff and these dating stuff and these people praying for a relationship and all that, and we really be laughing how asinine it is. I think simply because we relate in the red.
Yeah.
In the red words, but we relate on and we were talking about that. She was like, they talking about take trips, and I was like, man, I said, you know why people got to go on all these dates to keep their relationship on heat and alive? It's because that's how they birthed that thing. That's how they started relate. They related to each other going on dates.
Yeah,
and they built their love off of that type of thing. And I looked at her today. I said, girl, I said, me and you, our relationship came strong in the work.
right.
Yeah, we were sitting there. I remember she sitting there in the studio. You remember, EJ? She's sitting in the studio there running the board for me. People don't know them stories.
Right.
She's sitting in the studio, and while I'm in there working 2 or 3 hours, whatever, she back there writing on and just sitting there. Just sitting there writing, working on something else, helping with some shit. Well, let me press record and play. And you go ahead and do it because I'm running back and forth to the booth. We related in a different thing.
Right.
So because we related, our relationship is built differently. You get it? How do you relate to God? Now, Jesus is trying to show us in the red, it's a red relationship. Jesus is trying to show us how to relate to God past getting your needs met.
Yep.
Past figuring out what you're going to put on, past getting a blessing, past getting a word, past being somebody, past being famous. Can you relate to God? You relating to God got to go past all that. You get it? You get that? Makes sense, don't it?
Right.
He's trying to show us how to relate to God in a very personal way that goes beyond all the things that we think the relationship is for. I know we do RedIn30 relationships, but I wasn't trying to get over there on this one. But how we got over there, that's why people have these lists that come from lust.
Yep.
They and we're gonna do a RedIn30 about that too. And I said this, and I might have done it, but I said this that your lust becomes your list.
Yep.
When watch this, LUST, your lust becomes your list. When the you turns into an I. And what did I say? When what you have turns into what I want, the lust turns into a list. But we call them goals and aspirations and vision boards. When you really just lusting over a position in society. That's hard, man. I know, but it's the truth. That's where your list comes from. Your list comes from your lust. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, all these things will be added. Take no thought what you're going to eat, what you're doing. Your Father know what you have need of. He ain't say he know what you want. He know what you got need of. He know what you think you need, but he know what you got need of before you ask him. You get it? But your lust turn into your list. So what a lot of times with these lists, with these relationships, or what we want, and all these different things, this is just trying to fulfill a need that God has already fulfilled already.
What are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
What are you talking about?
You get it? But now you got these gurus and they say
Right.
you got to go on so many of this to keep the heat in your relationship. Keep the heat. Keep the fire in your look. If you got to do this, that's like giving a dog doggy biscuits. I gotta give my girl some biscuits so she stay loving me. What? Like, what are you talking about? And the same thing with God. It almost like you be treating God like that. Like, God gotta give you a blessing. Soon as something happens that you don't want to happen, the next thing you start blaming is God. Mm-hmm. It was your fault. You ate all that food.
Yeah.
It was your fault. You bought those things. It was your fault. You wanted to live in that place. It was your fault. You wanted to talk like that. It was your fault. Own it. Soon as something come up and God want to check us, now God did this. God. Stop. You building your relationship. Can you relate to God? What does it mean to even relate to God, EJ? You don't even know till you get down into Jesus. Mm-hmm. And Jesus says, me and my Father are one. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just. I don't seek not my own will, but I seek the will of the Father. If I seek my own, my witness is not true. He starts talking about that. You get it? He said, I didn't come here for what I wanted to get. So now my relationship with God becomes a relay of God. See, I'm able to relate God to another because I relate to God in myself. Mm-hmm. Did you understand? Did you hear what I said? I begin to relate God to another because I relate to God on the inside. Jesus shows me how to do this. So I'm not, see, a lot of times, this is why we hoes, because we got relationship with all these things that's using us.
Yeah.
Or we have relationships with all these situations that don't mean us no good, but they paying us. They putting clothes on our back. It's like, is that really a good relationship with somebody getting you money and giving you a dress, but they ain't talking to you?
But that's where they at though.
Giving you money, putting clothes on your back, but they ain't talking to you. They ain't looking for the best. They're not trying to bring the best out of you. They're not trying to show you the thing. They're just there for whatever you can provide for them when it's time when they want it. What kind of relationship is this? And most of us have that whole like relationship with God. We trying to hold God out.
Right.
Trying to get what we want. We got to stop this episode, EJ, because that's wild. That's wild, dog. That you're trying to hold God out for whatever you want. And that's why you sing your random praises and you do your penance and some people are even paying their tithes and doing this stuff because they're trying to hold God out, trying to get what they want. They're not even trying to relate to him. When you give, right? No matter how you give, when you give financially, give your tithes, offering, or you give to people, or you know what you're supposed to be learning? How to relate to God, because for God so loved the world that he gave. He's trying to teach you. It's not about you giving to get something. Of course, that's the way it works, right? But he's trying to get you to relate to the fact that he's a consistent giver no matter what. When you woke up this morning, when you're breathing today, it's your breath in our lungs. And so I sing this song and I get to crying because it's always him giving. He's a consistent giver and he doesn't take it back. He he gives even when you don't give it back to him. He's trying to make you relate to God. Right. The reason that Jesus was able to do the miracles and the healings and different things. I'll talk to the woman that was caught in adultery and say, go and sin no more, and not give her a lecture, because he relates to God. He's so related to God, related like we kin. Mm-hmm. That's what kingdom is, kinship.
Right.
We're so related to God that I have no choice but relay him. It's almost like my face, EJ. Like my face, I used to be in school and they said, God, dog, you look like your daddy. I had no choice because I was made from his DNA. So my face relays his image. Turn the music on. That's enough. My face, you hear what I'm saying? Because I was made from him, my face relays his image without a word. You know who I look like. You know I look like my pa. Father God.
Relay.
And now it relays it. It relays it. And so now when you watch this, EJ, they say, boy, you look just like your daddy. When you see me, you see the Father. Cut the music off. All right, Red 30, y'all. We out. All right.